My dear brothers and sisters, we were having the Bible study on the book of Tobit, and we just had the introduction yesterday, and today we are going to reflect from the chapter 1, verse 1 onwards, from the book of Tobit. Let us read chapter 1, verse 1. This book tells the story of Tobit, son of Tobiel, son of Hananiel, son of Aduel, son of Gabael, son of Raphael, son of Reguel, of the descendants of Asiel, of the tribe of Naphtali. So normally, if you have a name, El is last, El is coming from the Lord. El means Elohim. So Elohim means Yahweh, the Lord. So the name has a meaning plus Yahweh. That means, for example, Tobiah means God is my goodness. Tobiah. So Tobiel means God is my goodness. From that word Tobit comes. So that's how the Tobit and Tobiel comes. God is my goodness. El means God or Yahweh. Anywhere Gabriel, Raphael, and all these words, El is coming from the belonging to God. Praise the Lord. So let's read. And he says he is coming from the tribe of Naphtali. Naphtali tribe. There are 12 tribes in Israel, and Naphtali is one of those tribes. And Tobit comes from that tribe. Let's read verse 2. Who in the days of King Shalmaneser of the Assyrians was taken into captivity from Tishbe. So Tobit was taken for captivity from Tishbe, which is to the south of Kadesh Naphtali in Upper Galilee, above Asher toward the west and north of Agos. So whoever may be the one who wrote this book of the Tobit, trying to make it historically correct, but there is some mistake in the historically, because it was not time of the Shalmaneser, it is his father's time. The captivity happened. So maybe some historical mistake also happens in the historical explanations of the Bible. So, and then he says that Assyrians came and conquered. We all know from the history of Israel. Let us see the map of Israel, and then we will see the whole Israel, that is 12 tribes, were divided into two groups, two countries. In fact, originally it was together. It was one and the same. But when King Saul was ruling over Israel, the whole country was one country. Then when King David was ruling over, the whole country was one country. When King Solomon was ruling over the country, the whole Israel was one country. But after Solomon, two of his sons fought with each other, and then two people divided the whole country into two countries. The northern part is called Kingdom of Israel, ruled by Jeroboam. And then southern part is called Kingdom of Judah, ruled by Rehoboam. So this is how they ruled. These two, the northern part is consisting of 10 tribes, the southern part is consisting of 2 tribes, Benjamin and Judah. That is how the Kingdom of Judah. Northern part, Naphtali comes in the northern part. And the capital of the northern part is Samaria. And from that, the Samaritans comes. Samaritans means that those who are belonging to the kingdom of Israel mixed with Assyrians. They married to the Assyrians, and their children, half Jewish, half Assyrians, their children are called Samaritans. That is why Jewish people do not accept these Samaritans. They say you are adulterated, you are mixed, so they won't accept. So that is why Samaritans have God. They believe in the Assyrian gods plus Yahweh. Yahweh is also their God. Assyrians has got 5 gods. Assyrians had 5 gods, main gods. Mainly 5 gods. There are many gods, but mainly 5 gods. And then Yahweh, that is the next to God. That is why when Jesus met the Samaritan woman, Jesus said, bring your husband. She said, I don't have husband. Then Jesus said, you had 5, with one whom with you are now is not your husband. So that means there is a spiritual interpretation. You are connected to the Assyrians, you are worshipping Assyrians gods all these years. Now you have come back to the Israel, but you are still not united to the Yahweh who is supposed to be your husband. So that is what Jesus meant by saying, you have 5 husbands, but the one with whom now you are is not your husband. So then she understood the meaning of all these things. She understood she is not united to God. That is why she was ready. She understood the meaning of it. She understood he is the Messiah because he is speaking spiritual things and highly spiritual things and all this. So that's how there are some interpretation like this. So she suddenly accepted Jesus as the Messiah. So the kingdom of Israel, the Samaria was the capital, and then kingdom of Judah, Jerusalem was the capital. Jerusalem. And kingdom of Israel was ruled by Jeroboam, and then kingdom of Judah was ruled by Rehoboam. And that is, after some time, the Assyrian Empire came and conquered the kingdom of Israel, the northern part, and took all the people as exile. So it was a custom in those days, if enemies come and conquer a country, they take the people from there and they take them to their own country and keep in a separated place, and then use them for hard work, hard labor, especially to build huge palaces, huge mansions. There a lot of hard work is needed. For that, these slaves were used, and that is how the culture of those days. So let's continue reading. So Tobit chapter 1 verse 2, who in the days of King Shalmaneser of the Assyrians was taken into captivity from Tishbe, which is to the south of Kadesh Naphtali in upper Galilee, above Asher toward the west and north of Phagor. Let's read verse 3. Now Tobit is writing. So it is believed that somebody has wrote, we don't know who wrote, but it is written in as if it is Tobit himself is writing down, like an autobiography. Tobit, walked in the ways of truth and righteousness all the days of my life. I performed many acts of charity for my kindred and my people who had gone with me in exile to Nineveh in the land of the Assyrians. He said, I am very well obedient to my God in the land of Assyrians, that Nineveh. Nineveh is in fact Assyrian city. We know when we studied the book of Jonah. Assyrian city is a huge city. And Assyrians is a pagan city. And he was a slave in Assyria. Though when Jewish people were taken in custody or captivity in Assyria, most of them left their God out of anger, because they said, our God did not protect us. Why should we depend on our God? Most of them left their God Yahweh. They compromised. They started worshipping Assyrian gods. They started compromising with their faith. They started getting mixed marriages. And mixed marriages happen. And that is why even today we know the 10 tribes after the Assyrian exile, after Assyrian conquest, invasion, the 10 tribes disappeared. Because most of them compromised their faith and gave up. And that is why the 10 lost tribes, the famous saying, 10 lost tribes. So these Assyrians, but this Tobit said, I never adulterated my faith. I never compromised. I did whatever that I was asked to do, I followed it. That is why he is insisting that his son Tobias should get married to the same kindred, same family. He never proposed or never allowed the mixed marriage. So the book of Tobit is totally against mixed marriages, because they know it is because of the mixed marriage the whole 10 tribes disappeared. Praise the Lord. So, and then exiled to Nineveh, the land of the Assyrians. And let's read verse 4. When I was in my own country, in the land of Israel, while I was still a young man, the whole tribe of my ancestor Naphtali deserted the house of David and Jerusalem. This city had been chosen from among all the tribes of Israel. and where all the tribes of Israel should offer sacrifice, and where the temple, the dwelling of God, had been consecrated and established for all generations forever. Now, Tobit is speaking a very historical incident, a very powerful history written in the Bible. He says, when I was young, when I was in my ancestor's house, that is in Israel, the whole tribe of my ancestor Naphtali deserted the house of David and Jerusalem. The whole, there are, I told you in the map, we can see the 10 tribes together, the blue color, and the rest two tribes in the southern part, that is Benjamin and Judah. And Jerusalem is in the Benjamin and in the Judah, kingdom of Judah. In fact, Jerusalem is the original capital of all Israel. Since it was divided, the northern kingdom started Samaria as the capital. But there is a big problem. When God, through Moses, when God brought Israel to the promised land and established the country, God had already told them, you will have only one temple, and the temple will be in Jerusalem. And all the Jewish people are supposed to come to Jerusalem. Now the problem is the whole country is divided. The northern part is ruled by Jeroboam, southern part is ruled by Rehoboam. But for every festival like Passover, Tabernacle and Pentecost, all the Jewish people are supposed to come to Jerusalem. And then there is a problem, because the northern part of people, when they came to the southern part, they found the southern part is well flourished, organized, is growing financially, prosperity, all these things. And when they go back to the northern part, they got offended by Jeroboam. They said, our king is not ruling properly, but the kingdom of Judah is ruled by Rehoboam in a proper way. And then the northern king understood, if they continue going to Jerusalem, then there will be a big problem in northern part. Everyone will be against me and I will lose my kingship. Therefore, he closed the boundary. And he said, now onwards, nobody should go to Jerusalem. And then he appointed two places, especially he appointed two places and made these made two temples there and made a golden calf. Just like Israel worshipped the golden calf in the Exodus, the same way he made two temples, and one is in Dan, the other one is in, I think, Shechem or somewhere. And then he made two calves, golden calves, and told them, this is the God who brought you out of Egypt, and worship it. No more go to Jerusalem. Then majority of the people, out of fear of the king, they followed him. And Tobit says, my tribe, my ancestors' tribe, Naphtali, the whole tribe deserted. That is what he said. So I was still a young man. The whole tribe of my ancestor Naphtali deserted the house of David and Jerusalem. They, instead of going to Jerusalem, they started going to this golden calf. The city had been chosen from among all the tribes of Israel, where all the tribes of Israel should offer a sacrifice, where the temple, the dwelling God, had been consecrated and established for all generations. Because God told Israel, there is another history behind it. When Passover meal was celebrated from Egypt, it was the head of the family who was celebrating the Passover meal, because all are priests. Everyone has got royal priesthood. So the Passover meal or the lamb sacrifice was taking place in every house. Head of the family has the right to sacrifice. So that is how the Passover meal was celebrated in every house. But when golden calf worship happened, when Israel committed sin, God said, from now onwards, no sacrifice in the houses. Now I am going to appoint some priest. And that is how he appointed Aaron and his sons as priests, and he consecrated ministerial priesthood in the Israel. And then he said, in the future, when you enter into promised land, I will show you a place, and that place you should make a temple, and this sacrifice should be done only in that temple. He said, let's read this passage. Deuteronomy chapter 12 verse 11. Deuteronomy chapter 12 verse 7. Verse 11. Then, okay, let's read verse 10 onwards. When you cross over the Jordan, repeat after me. When you cross over the Jordan,
When you cross over the Jordan,
live in the land
and live in the land
that the Lord your God is allotting to you,
that the Lord your God is
and
allotting
when
to
He
you,
gives you rest from
when
your
He
enemies
and when He gives you rest from
all
your enemies,
around,
all around,
so that you live in safety,
so that you live in safety,
then you shall bring everything that I command
you
you
shall bring everything that
to
I
the
command
place
you,
that the Lord your God will choose
to the place that the Lord your God will
as a
choose
dwelling for His name.
as a dwelling for His name.
Your burnt offerings
Your burnt offerings
and your sacrifices,
and your sacrifices,
your tithes,
your tithes,
your donations,
your donations,
and all your choice votive gifts
and all your choice
that
votive
you
gifts
vow
that you vow
to the Lord.
to the Lord.
God said, after you enter into promised land, I will choose your place, one dwelling place, and there you have to bring all your sacrifices, tithes, everything, donation, everything into that one place. And then verse 12. Next one. And you shall rejoice
And you shall rejoice
before the Lord, your
your God,
you together with your sons
you together with your sons
and your daughters,
and your daughters,
your male and female slaves,
your male and female
and the
slaves,
Levites,
and the Levites
who reside in your
who
towns,
reside in your towns,
since they have no allotment
since they have no
or
allotment
inheritance with you.
or inheritance with
And
you.
verse 13. Take care
Take care
that you do not offer your burnt offerings
that you do not offer your burnt
at any
offerings
place you happen to see.
at any place you happen to see.
So God banned. God said no more offerings in any other place. Not your home, not a marketplace, not other place. Only in this temple. Initially, these offerings, burnt offerings would be done in every house. In fact, in Egypt, when they did the sacrifice of the lamb and eating the Passover meal, it was done in every house. But God banned it. After that, He said only in the temple it should be happened. That's why even today, in the new Passover, that is Eucharist, Eucharist cannot be celebrated in your homes by the head of the family. It should be in the one place which is God chosen by God, in the temple, only by the ministerial priest, not by any head of the family. Just like in the Protestant movements happens, anybody comes and breaking the bread and giving to the people, it won't happen. It is not how it is supposed to be practiced. It should be in the temple, which are chosen and consecrated, and by the official ministerial priest, whom God has appointed. And only at those places this Eucharist should be done, not by anybody from anywhere. So take care that you do not offer your burnt offerings at any place you happen to see. Verse 14. But only at the place that the Lord will choose in one of your tribes, there you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do everything I command. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
So that's how the culture of one temple, and everyone comes to one temple and they offer the Passover meal, everything, Passover sacrifice, everything is done one celebration, one temple that happened in the Israel. And that continued in the Catholic Church. So we are only supposed to celebrate Holy Mass only in the temple, in the church. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
And not by anybody, not by any head of the family or anyone. So this is how the background. So only one place is there for them to worship, that is Jerusalem. And Jerusalem happened to be in the second country, that Judah. But the northern part, they don't have other place. So the king Jeroboam said, now onwards, you don't need to go to Jerusalem. I'm going to make two places. We read 1 Kings chapter 12. 1 Kings chapter 12 verse 25, we read. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and resided there. He went out from there and built Penuel. And verse 26. Then Jeroboam said to himself, now the kingdom may well revert to the house of David. And verse 27. If these people continue to go up to offer sacrifices,
if this people continues to go up to offer sacrifices
in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem,
the
heart of these people will turn against their master.
The heart of this people will turn again to their master.
King Rehoboam of Judah. Then they will kill me. And return to King Rehoboam of Judah. So 28 we read. So the king took counsel. And made 2 calves of gold. And he said to the people, you have gone up to Jerusalem, long enough. Here are your gods,
Here are your
O
gods,
Israel,
O Israel,
who brought you out of the land of Egypt.
who brought you up out of the land of Egypt.
And he set one in Bethel,
He set one in Bethel,
and the other he put in Dan.
and the other he put in Dan.
And verse 30. And this thing became a sin.
And this thing
For
became
the
a
people
sin.
went to worship before the one at Bethel,
For the people went to worship before the
and
one in
before the
Bethel,
other as far as Dan.
and before the other as far as Dan.
Verse 31. He also made houses on high places,
He also made houses on high
and
places,
appointed priests from among all the people
and appointed priests from among all
who
the
were not
people
Levites.
who were not Levites.
See, this is self-proclaimed church. A denomination is created. This is how many denominations starts. Out of anger towards the original church. To divert, creating everything, duplicating. He duplicated church, duplicated priest, duplicated God. So he did it. And this is exactly what Tobit is mentioning in his book. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
When I was in my own country in the land of Israel, while I was still a young man, the whole tribe of my ancestor Naphtali deserted the house of David and Jerusalem. This city had been chosen from among all the tribes of Israel, where all the tribes of Israel should offer sacrifice, and where the temple, the dwelling of God, had been consecrated and established for all generations forever. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
So this is what happened. So generations forever. Now the rest of the things we will study tomorrow.